Kaiju number 8, Chapter 4, titled, The Old Man Who Became a Monster vs. Monster-Like Examinee, opens on a suspicious Kikaru, noting Kafka reeks of kaiju. Reno quickly covers him by stating the two work in kaiju disposal. She wonders why the two are there, but Kafka is busy flipping the van back over using his new powers. This confusion leads Kikoru to believe Kafka also has a private suit. Kafka then proudly states his exam number and name, telling her not to forget it. Kikoru responds that the exam was initially just a rite of passage for her, but now things are looking fun. Kikoru also expresses her desire to make a complete fool out of Kafka before leaving with her butler Sabasu. There was a tiny part of me that couldn't help thinking this name was a small reference to Sebastian Michaelis from Black Butler. Reno is livid over Kafka using his kaiju powers so quickly, but Kafka plays it off saying he only transformed parts of his body that couldn't be seen. Shortly after, the second half of the exam begins with a number of fitness tests, including running and climbing. Kafka is rapidly falling behind in all of them, and he laments being older. Briefly, he considers tapping into his powers but chooses not to. Placing 219th out of 225, Kafka falls to his knees in shame, Kikoru standing over him and laughing. She says he's already looking foolish. Later, Reno asks why Kafka didn't use his kaiju powers, and Kafka states that the others worked so hard to reach this point, and it wouldn't be fair to take advantage of his abilities, though he quickly regrets saying this. Vice Captain Hoshina delivers the current list of examinees to Mina. He tells her there are a few interesting people in the mix, though he expects her not to really care about anything outside of killing kaiju. However, upon seeing Kafka's profile amongst the others, she tells him to keep talking, much to his surprise. We cut back to the examinees, and Reno begins pointing out the people who really stand out, with Kikoru being the best among them. Kikoru shows up saying they're finally grasping how brilliant she is. Kafka grabs her by the shoulders, shouting about how she's been a big deal the entire time, only to hilariously get taken down by her butler and one of the officers. Lying on the ground, Kikoru says that's twice now she's made a fool of him, wondering how much more he can take. An angry Kafka stands up, shouting she'll be the one looking foolish soon enough. This is when Hoshina appears, announcing the second half of the examination is now starting. Hoshina tells the examinees they won't be dismantling kaiju, but for this half of the exam, they will have to neutralize a kaiju. A large kaiju can then be seen behind the area, two gates surrounded by two or so smaller kaiju. This confuses both Reno and Kafka, who go into full-on panic mode, bringing an end to Chapter 4. Now, I can see Kafka doing well here. He'll absolutely need his powers to win, but with his knowledge of kaiju, he could pull this off. I think Kikoru will get a little too cocky and might need help. We'll just have to see in Chapter 5. Thank you for watching.